Okay, this video is called Underrated Health Helpers. I talk about diet all the time, mitochondrial inhibitors all the time. So I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. First of all, exercise. Yeah, you know exercise is good for you, but the reason why, there's some things that not everybody knows. When you exercise, your immune system runs on braille. Your white blood cells travel all over your body and they touch everything. And when they touch cells, they feel the proteins if they have a normal shape or not. And if they have an abnormal shape, then they're considered non-self and they're removed by the immune system. In order for the immune system to remove infections and cancer, it has to travel around faster. So when you're warm, it travels faster. When you exercise, it travels 10 to 30 times faster because it's not connected to the heart. The lymphatic system of vessels is parallel to the arteries and veins. So you lower your risk of infection or cancer. You sleep better. It makes a big difference for sleeping better, especially as people get older. It improves your physical appearance, your cardiac function, strength, endurance, all that's good. Your better mood, better confidence, lower stress. It's all good. Sunshine. The best videos on sunshine are over at MedCram by Roger Seaholt, Dr. Seaholt. They're really good at MedCram. They're worth your time. You get better outcomes. That's been shown for a long time. Florence Nightingale and healing the patients, better outcomes in the tuberculosis sanatoriums. Of course, you get more vitamin D. Senef, the PhD lady, believes you get better sulfation in your glycocalyx, zeta potential stuff. You get release of nitric oxide precursors from subcutaneous tissues. You get better mitochondrial function, according to the paper shown by Dr. Seaholt over at MedCram, which is quite interesting. I'll talk about this more in the future, but the gist of it is it's thought to cause a phase change in the water next to ATP synthase and make it more liquefied so the ATP synthase to make energy to make ATP can spin faster. Okay, water filtration. Carbon filtration should be done at a minimum because that gets all the estrogenic chemicals out of there. It gets rid of the excess chlorine as well. Ideally, it's good to have reverse osmosis because people add up all these toxins. When a woman's on birth control pills, she voids it into the toilet, goes out into the waterway, and then it goes into somebody else's drinking water. And that's because it's too expensive for these municipal water filtration places to remove it. So just think about, how bad these municipal water filtration places are. They've got enough money to add poison to your water with fluoride and aluminum, but they don't have enough money to remove toxic estrogenic chemicals. Think about that. Okay, beware of dentists. Dentists are dangerous. Dentists poison more people than psychiatry does with fluoride, with amalgams that are 50% mercury, and with root canals. The amalgams that have high copper in them are even more toxic than the regular ones of the past. Root canals are always bad. I mean, the tooth is always dead, potentially leaking bacterial toxins into your blood, causing all kinds of systemic problems. You'll be amazed. Study root canals if you had one. You'll be amazed at all the problems with them. Okay, next thing, avoiding toxins and stupid behavior. Avoid head trauma. Okay, a lot of people did something stupid, had a head trauma when they were young, but don't repeat it. Okay, don't play any sports where you're getting head trauma. Nothing good comes from head trauma. Don't put your cell phone next to your head unless it's an emergency. Use the speakerphone. Don't put cell phones in your front pocket or in your pants or your shirt. They're low-power microwave transmitters. You don't want that. Yeah, it's a real low dose, but you don't want to be doing that every day. Avoid powder foods. They're often contaminated with heavy metals. I'm going to not talk about foods other than that one comment, avoiding toxins. I only eat off clear plates that are glass. In the past, for example, my old ex-wife had bought all these dishes and plates that were painted. So I went and got a test kit and tested them all for lead, and there was no lead. So she's like yelled at me, "You're a freaking paranoid autistic jerk." And I'm like, no, it's just intelligence. I don't want to potentially be eating off lead paint and be accumulating that toxicity. Minimalism. Avoid personal care products. Most personal care products contain 1 or 2, some even 3 estrogenic chemicals. And the worst is deodorants. You put that on your armpit with shared lymphatics to the upper outer quadrant of the breast. You increase the risk of breast cancer, especially in women, a dramatic amount. And I see a couple of cases of breast cancer every year in men. It's rare, but I do see it. I didn't used to see it, back in the day when I was a resident. Avoid the public schools or anything that's modernist if you can. They're all evil and bad. They're all designed to, do you some type of mental or physical harm, you and your kids. So avoid them as best you can. There's nothing good about them. Their goal is to bring back slavery. That's all they want, and everything else is just part of their gaslighting program. Religion. All people who practice the major religions are healthier than their non-religious co-ethnics. I think it lowers the stress. It adds meaning and purpose to life. Harold Koenig, MD, wrote several books and papers about this. I read one of his books. It was good. People used to improve health by going on pilgrimages. Get some outside, get in the sunshine, get some to exercise, get some to be social, going through the woods and stuff. Biophilia. So anyways, I hope this was helpful.